What's today's date? 18th. January took forever, and we're already almost done with February. It's crazy. All right. Recall, we have 3 formulas from the first semester. The IVT, to find the average rate of change, f of b minus f of a over b minus a, and also the mean value theorem, which you guys love. This is something for sure, just as a heads up, we need to review because I feel like a lot of you guys struggle with this one. We're going to review it a lot before the AP exam because I want you guys to be confident on these problems. But intermediate value theorem. The word intermediate, remember, means in between. So draw this with me, guys. So pretend like we have just some graph that goes something like that. So I'm going to call this point on the x-axis A. Which means right here on the curve, this point would be f of A. I'm going to call this point on the x-axis B. And that corresponds to this point on the curve, which is f of B. So remember, guys, we talked about that if the function is what? Special word? Means it doesn't stop. Continuous. Okay? That means that every y value that exists between these 2 points must exist. Remember I used the analogy of Rodrigo's height for him to go from, let's say, 4'8" in second grade to 6'4" he is now? You guys get what I'm saying, right? So does that make sense that there has to be like some x value that hits the curve right there? There has to be some x value, so that's the intermediate value there. Okay? All right. Average value is a new formula. Okay? So the average value of a function on the interval a to b is this formula. 1 over b minus a. So you're going to subtract this end point minus the beginning point times the integral from a to b of f of x dx. And that's it. That's what this whole lesson's about. All right. So first example, find the average value of f of x is equal to 6 minus x squared on the interval from -1 to 3. All right, I know there's not a lot of space, guys, so please write small just so you guys can fit everything. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to be really good at using your calculator. So what you guys can do is when you guys are doing your homework, you guys should be doing Math 9 on your calculator and checking your answers for all these. Obviously, I have my answer key posted, but the more you guys practice with that feature on your calculator, the better you guys will be for the AP exam. Okay, is everybody with me on that? So if you guys do this on your calculator, talk to me, guys. Is it like 3.67, 666? Yeah? Have you done it yet? You guys should get 3.6666666666. And if you're not, it's because you guys forgot this part. Let's just do it first and then we'll practice it. Okay. All right. So don't forget this part. Okay, that's okay. Learning lesson. Don't forget typing this in. So if this is my B and this is my A, it's going to be 1 over what is 3 minus -1? 4. So it's going to be 1/4 times the integral from A to B. So A is -1, B is 3. Of my function 6 minus x squared dx. So to get ready for this chapter, guys, I went to Pismo over the weekend. And so while I was in the car, I was bored. So I was watching like the chapter 8 videos to get ready for you guys. I don't know if I've said this enough. Do you guys know what dx means? With respect to x. Good. Dx means with respect to x. If it's dt, that means with respect to t. Okay, that's all that means. All right, so integrate this like normal. So this is going to be 1/4 times 6x minus, if I do the antiderivative, x cubed over 3. From -1 to 3. Now, you guys will have questions on Thursday where you guys are doing this by hand. So as much as possible, try to practice doing this by hand. So plug in B first, subtract, plug in A. So this is going to become, I'm going to write it up here, 1/4 times, I'm going to put in parentheses when I plug in 3. What's 6 times 3? 18 minus, if I plug in 3, 3 cubed is 27. What's 27 divided by 3? 9, so minus 9. Minus, now I'm going to plug in -1. 6 times -1, -6, minus, if I plug in -1, -1 cubed is -1. -1 divided by 3 is just -1/3. But minus -1/3 becomes plus -1/3, or plus 1/3, excuse me. All right, so it's going to be 1/4 times 9 plus 6 minus 1/3. Is everyone cool with that? This is 9, -6 becomes plus 6. 6 plus 9 is 15. All right, now, yeah. How many thirds is 15? 45 thirds. Okay, I can rewrite this as 45 over 3. 45 over 3 minus 1/3 is 44 over 3. And if I want to simplify this, on the AP exam, guys, you guys could literally leave your answer like this. And I strongly encourage you guys to do that, because if you keep going and make a boo-boo, the AP graders will mark it wrong, okay? But if I want to simplify this, what's 44 divided by 4? 11. So this just becomes 11 thirds. Cool. Now, if you practice this in your, or put this in your calculator, don't forget the 1/4. Yeah, 3.6667, which is 11 over 3. If you guys forget to do the 1/4, don't erase it. Do the integral and then just times 1/4. Okay, just don't forget the A over B part. Okay, questions? No questions? It's all good in the hood? Okay. When does a function assume this value? So, -1 to 3. When does the function equal this value? So, we are going to take our answer and set it equal to 11 thirds. That's what this is saying. Or sorry, take our function and set it equal to 11 thirds. So 11 thirds is equal to 6 minus x squared. And I'm just going to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Do you guys agree that 6 is the same thing as 18 over 3? 11 thirds minus 18 thirds is -7 thirds. If I divide both sides by -1, We get 7/3 is equal to x squared. Square root both sides. So x is equal to plus or minus. We're in calculus, so you can just leave it like that. We're not picky here. All right. Questions? All right, so that's how to do most of your homework, but there are some special problems that I kind of want to show you guys. So now we're going to compare average rate of change with average value. So you don't want to get the two confused, okay? So this says use a calculator, set up each equation for each question and then use a calculator to solve it. So what is the average height during the first 3 seconds? So here the question says that h of t is height. So this function, h is the height and then t is time. So if I want to find average height, that is basically asking you guys to find average value. Okay? So over the first 3 seconds, what's A and what's B? 0 to 3. So this would be your A, this would be your B. Don't forget what the formula says. So what goes in the front then if I'm going to set this up? So 1 over 3 times the integral of 0 to 3. Now here comes the cool part. Imagine you're on the AP test and you're stressed for time and you're hungry and you have a headache and you want it to be over. I know we've all been there when we're taking a test, right? Look, this is h of t, right? We could write all that out. But if you're taking an AP exam, the readers know that this is h of t. So instead of writing negative 16t squared, you can just write of h of t dt. Instead of writing all that out, okay? Now it says to use a calculator. So we're going to use our calculator to do this problem. So you're going to do 1/3, or you can just do in parentheses 1 divided by 3, math 9, and then type in the function, okay? Actually, I lied. Stop. I know. Because I want to show you guys a shortcut. Remember, we had a shortcut for when we type it into y1. So let's type our function into y1. Can you help me out? It's negative 16x squared plus 41x plus 10? Okay. So remember, our function is in t's, but our calculator just put it in terms of x. So type that into y1. When you guys are good with that, hit second quit. Because now our calculator remembers that that's y1. So then if I go out of that, I want to find the integral 1/3. Oh my goodness. 1/3 math 9 from 0 to 3. Instead of typing out that function, what can I type now? y1. So there's a couple ways to get to y1. I showed you guys a shortcut, alpha F4. That's one way. Or you guys can click on variables. So if you guys click on that button that says vars, that means variables. Click on that button. And then yvars, because we typed it into y1. Function, hit enter. y1. Did I lose you guys? Did I lose you guys? Want me to go back?
Yes.
To which part?
Because I was struggling with the x squared, so beginning.
Did you guys got it in y1?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna do variables. What? You got it? Variables, and then there's menus, hit on y variables, and then click on y1. And then just make sure you guys do it with respect to x. Bless you. And then hit enter, and then boom. That's our answer. Questions? Don't be shy, guys. Questions on how to set this up? No, because we're going to use the same equation for part B. Remember, the AP test, you're timed. So because we're going to use that equation for multiple parts, instead of typing all that out, if we just tell our calculator what that function is, then we can just retrieve it really fast. Okay? So 23.5. What's my units here? Feet. Okay. Now, what I want you guys to think about, because this will happen after you guys take your tests, we're going to bring this back again. Do you guys remember the problems we were talking about? Position, velocity, acceleration. So I want you guys to think about the height as position. What is the relationship between position and velocity? How do I find velocity if I know position? The derivative. Derivative, remember, is the instantaneous rate of change. Okay? This is asking us to find the average velocity. So this is asking you guys to find the average rate of change. So this is worded very, 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 very in a tricky way. Almost said trickily, but that's not a word. They're trying to trick you. So this is where we're going to use f of b minus f of a over b minus a. Okay, is everybody cool with that? Because velocity is rate of change. We're giving dirty looks over there. Are you good?
Oh my gosh, it's a good friend to go.
Oh, okay. I thought it was because of the formula. We're going to use our calculator. Okay, so do you guys agree that on top it's going to be h of 3 minus h of 0 over 3 minus 0? Now this is important. I want you guys, and this is something I'm going to critique you guys on when I'm passing back your quiz. Please show your work for everything. If you guys just write a number, I have no idea where that came from. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. H of 3 minus h of 0 over 3 minus 0 equals, but we're going to use our calculator to do this for us. Okay, so how do you do that with your calculator? Didn't we already tell our calculator that this was y1? Okay, so you're going to go to your calculator and you're going to do alpha x to create the fraction first. Now, we want to do h of 3 minus h of 0, where y1 is our h. So you're going to go to the variables menu, y variables, click on function, y1. So y1 of 3, so you want to type it in like that, minus y1 of 0. Oh my goodness. Over 3 minus 0, which is just 3. Okay, does anybody need help with that? Are we comfortable with that explanation? Okay, I take the awkward silence as we're good. Okay. And what do we get? -7? Now, because it's velocity, what would be the units here? Feet per second. Okay. Questions? Okay. Number 3 is just dumb, but we're going to do it anyway as good practice, because sometimes these AP people like to trick you. So let's read it together. R of x is equal to 2 sine of x minus 1, where R is the rate at which Mr. Bruce's waistline is changing in inches per month, and x is time. What is the average rate of change that Mr. Brute's waistline changes from the 10th to the 12th month? Okay. Now, if you just read this without reading this, average rate of change, you guys agree, tells you to do f of b minus f of a over b minus a. Yes, but R is the rate already. So if you're trying to find the average rate when this is a rate, that's asking you to find the average value. It's asking you to do the integral part. Okay? So this right here is asking you, because you're not, this already represents a rate. Does that make sense? So this is just asking you to find average value. So formula, remember, is 1 over b minus a. What's a in this problem? 10. What's b? 12. So 1 over b minus a, guys, what's 12 minus 10? 2. So it's going to be 1/2 times the integral. What's a? 10 to 12. Bless you. Do I have to write my function? No. I can just put r of x dx. So if I want to do this quickly, type this function into your calculator. We're not using this function anymore, so if you guys want to clear your y1 and call the new function y1, go for it. -1. Good? Okay. Okay. Make sure you guys close the argument. All right, so 1/2, math 9, 10 to 12 of y1 dx. And you guys should get that. In our class, what do we round to if it doesn't say? 3 places. So negative 2.683. Which is good because in this problem, do we want the answer to be positive if we're cheering this guy on? No. Hopefully not, right? Hopefully he's losing weight, right? So it's negative 2.683. What's my units? Inches per month. Actually, no, inches. Inches. What is the average change of this rate? Ooh, I hate that. During the first 5 months. So what is this asking us to find? The average rate of change. So this is the f of b minus f of a over b minus a. So this is going to be average rate of change, or AROC. So if I want to show my work for this, guys, before I put in my calculator, I could write r of 5 minus r of 0 over 5 minus 0. Where in my calculator, remember, r is what? Which is what? y1. So in your calculator, do the same thing, guys. y1 of 5 minus y1 of 0 divided by 5. And I actually don't know what it is because I didn't do that part. I get 0.035. No?
Negative 0.6.
Oh, you know why? My calculator's in degrees. Silly. I don't know if I've said that in this class though, but everything should be in radians. Negative 0.384. Does that look better? Okay. And here would be inches per month. All right, that is 8.1.